Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it would seem like the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes had zero impact on Black Adam.
People aren't listening to the media?
They're not. They're not listening to the media. The media is saying this is an awful movie, terrible movie. Now, disclaimer, we haven't seen the movie, but we're going to talk about the box office receipts. And, you know, I've seen some reviews from people whose opinions I trust, and they're basically like, it's a functional superhero movie. Nothing to write home about, but it's certainly not the worst thing ever made either. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we're going to talk about this. It's doing pretty good at the box office so far. I guess it's on track for 70 million this weekend.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go see it.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 277,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about comics, the comic book industry, comic book movies, the DCEU. We actually have 2 videos today about the DCEU, and this is one of the movies that they're kind of pinning their hopes on because we don't know what's going to happen to the DCEU.
No.
You know, going forward, Walter Hamada out the door. Reportedly Ezra Miller out the door. We're going to talk about that later, but yeah. So the critics didn't like Black Adam at all. That's putting it mildly. The audiences, however, seem to like it quite
more
a bit.
than double the score.
Yeah, so look, this is not always the case when critics hate a movie, audiences love a movie, and when audiences hate a movie, critics love it. It's not always the case. But it does show that in a lot of instances, audiences and critics are looking for 2 very different things. In this case, with Black Adam, people said they just wanted a superhero movie you could turn your brain off and just watch it.
Yeah, like fun, just fun for the sake of dumb fun for being dumb fun.
Yeah, I know people were, some of the critics were getting angry that they weren't getting more political.
Yeah, there was about like they
the Middle East or something.
Yes, I was like, why? Why would they?
What?
But then when they do things like Top Gun Maverick, they got mad about that too.
Yeah. So I mean, what are you gonna do, right? So let's talk about the box office. It did 7.6 million in previews.
Well, good them.
The Thursday launch bodes well for the film and is tracking higher than last year's F9, which had 7.1 million in previews and a $70 million opening weekend. And fellow DC film Shazam, 5.9 million in previews for a $53.5 million opening weekend.
I thought it was going to go like the way of Shazam because it's a character most people don't know. If it didn't do well and they were predicting it wasn't going to do well, that's what I would put it on, is more because of that. But the way it's going to is because it's Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's Dwayne Johnson in a superhero, anti-hero
and
role.
I like him, as I said yesterday.
Yeah. Some people...
He does play himself in every movie, though.
He does play himself.
I do like him.
When I was thinking, like, who's going to play Black Adam? Actually, no, I'll tell you the truth. I never once thought who's going to play Black Adam in the DCEU because I never thought we'd get that far. But Dwayne Johnson was not at the top of the list. That's for damn sure. But if it works, whatever. Yeah, so it's interesting because they're really positioning Black Adam to be a major part of the DCEU. And of course they are because it's Johnson. Now, a lot of people probably going for that teaser at the end. Can we talk about that? Spoiler! Henry Cavill's back as Superman.
Yay.
And I guess The Rock had to get Henry Cavill back because they were pretty much done.
Yeah, he was kind of the reason why they brought him back in. So, go him for that too.
So I don't know where they're going to go with this, but we can talk about
what are the people saying that they like the audience score? We looked at the critic score yesterday. What is the audience score saying?
Action filled.
Very candy. What?
They torrent it. Did they torrent it? No, it says verified. I'm struggling to think of a movie with less substance than this. Spend your money on action figure and bath salts.
Sorry if that's funny.
At least it's on action figures and lube. Go buy some Captain Marvel. Go buy some Captain Marvels cheap.
They said you'll have a better time. They didn't say you'll have a much better time. See, that much makes all the difference.
Okay. Beginning was cheesy, a lot of CGI. It redeems itself quickly. Great pace, good mix of humor and sarcasm. Exceeded expectations.
That I originally had for it.
Which were none.
I was going to say, that's not necessarily glowing praise. Movie was excellent, fast-paced and full action. They told his story without dragging it out or making it another slow origin story. Well, that's a plus. Wish Dr. Fate had more action scenes, and the end credit scene wasn't well thought out.
So here's the thing, though, too. Speaking of a lot of these. Now, okay. So here's where it gets really tricky on Rotten Tomatoes. Because
take Rotten Tomatoes with a grain of salt at all times.
If this were a movie that people didn't like, that they weren't talking favorably about, that caused fan outrage for some reason or another, people would look at these 5-star ratings from these avatar-less accounts and be like, they're review bombing it, positively review bombing it.
Oh, that's what they call it. Review something else. They call it something else now.
Shilling? I don't know.
Yes. I don't know. It's just like, it was okay. It was okay. Really dark. Gives credit only to the power of darkness and not the one true light. But okay.
F rotten. They're absolute lies is a must. Better than I thought. I think that's the thing. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I have zero expectation for this movie, and I had zero interest in this movie. I'm like, I don't really care about the DCEU going forward because I don't even know what it is.
Well, here, this one's interesting. Lots of action, and the origin story was well put together to the point where it makes sense on how Black Adam got his power. The movie is a bit cheesy, which we've heard. However, Dwayne, the movie enjoyable. I think he said made the movie enjoyable. The best part of the movie is the last 30 minutes. At the end is a big surprise, great set for future movies, which is probably Superman.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I guess my thing is like, what are they doing? I don't even think DC knows, but they're still looking for somebody to take over the DCEU. What are they doing? Are they just continuing from the Snyderverse and just moving forward? Or are they just redoing it? Are we going to have a reset, a reboot now? I don't know what they're doing. I don't
know what they're doing either.
I mean, and DC's been a really mixed bag, but I mean, overall, I think the last couple of DC movies I've liked better than the last couple of Marvel movies.
Well, they were saying here, they're saying Black Adam is an action-oriented popcorn flick that entertained. Critics are dumping on it, but it was better than some cookie-cutter Marvel stuff we've gotten lately.
Yeah, the JSA was cool. Yeah, I think the JSA is pretty cool. Dr. Fate, that's a character I never thought I would see on screen. Ever. Dr. Fate, I always thought he had the coolest superpowers action figure. And he has a cool looking character. But yeah, so I don't know, guys. Just saying what's going on here. And it's definitely...
Well, the good news is people might go give it a chance because the word of mouth is better than what the critics are saying. And most people listen to their friends now and not the critics anyway.
Yeah, it's gotten to that point where the critics really just don't mean as much. I mean, really, they haven't, because I'm thinking back, even when we were kids, like Siskel and Ebert, a lot of times they would give thumbs down to movies that have actually become, perennial favorites. And a lot of my favorite movies are actually poorly reviewed.
Yeah, so it could be really good.
Who knows?
We even said yesterday, we're like, well, that's the critical score. We haven't seen the audience yet, and the audience could go completely opposite of critics, and that is what happened here. So, yeah, I actually kind of want to see it now, or I didn't before, but people are saying it's kind of good, so.
Kind of good. Yeah, I think a lot of it, comes down to expectations. I think a movie can be so overhyped that when it doesn't deliver, it's like, what the hell was that,
But then again, the flip side is, if you're expecting the worst, if it's better than that, then it's like, wow, that was way better than I expected,
Yeah, I mean, that's happened to us on multiple occasions, where we watch something and it's like, well, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It wasn't great, but it was serviceable. And I guess if you're just looking for
for fun without having to overthink it.
Yeah.
Like you used to go to see superhero movies for?
Pretty much every superhero movie pre-X-Men was cheesy, Yeah. I mean, they were. I don't know. Anyway, that's what's going on, guys. It's going to make a lot of money. It's going to make a lot of money this weekend, which means, The Flash will probably make money too, especially with Michael Keaton,
Well, people are going to go probably because they want to see Miller because Miller's batshit.
that should absolutely be the trailer. It should be like, Miller is batshit.
He's not Batman. He's batshit.
Batshit. All right. We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.